He's not even built the same as Jake. I would say Jake's a little bit faster than him. He has more power, but he's slower in distributing that power. And I feel like Anthony probably took him a little bit more serious just because he's actually a bigger heavyweight with power. And I feel like he did everything.
You're going to get anything out of that sparring that's going to help you in your fight. Maybe you are. Maybe I'm just completely diminishing Jake Paul's ability, but I'm struggling. I really am.
Fair play to Jake Paul. I mean...
And you're right, there's a bit of a conflict there because Joshua used to manage it.
Jake Paul's newest transformation has shocked everyone as he steps forward with a sharper, stronger, and far more dialed-in physique before facing Anthony Joshua. His body now looks more refined, tighter, and noticeably built through relentless conditioning and a laser-focused training grind. This upgraded version of Jake sends a clear message he is treating this moment like the most important challenge of his entire journey. Building power, discipline, and belief as he walks toward the biggest fight of his life. Tony Jeff analyzes the possibility of Jake Paul pulling off a stunning upset against Anthony Joshua, highlighting key elements like timing, rhythm, and ongoing development. He points out that Jake has stayed active, is consistently entering camps and fighting regularly, keeping his reactions sharp and his confidence high. In contrast, Joshua has gone through periods of limited activity, which can slow decision-making, blunt timing, and make early pressure harder to manage. Jeff also emphasizes Jake is younger, fresher, and still climbing as an athlete. Now Joshua is stepping deeper into the later phase of his career. Jake's recent physical evolution is another major factor. His new build shows commitment far greater than earlier years, signaling real growth. Jeff believes these combined advantages may give Jake a surprising doorway to shock the world when the bell rings.
Paul, on the other hand, looking at his box rec, he's had 6 fights since 2023. And one of them was against Mike Tyson. But we all seen what happened in that fight. Mike Tyson was well past his prime. Where Anthony Joshua, on the other hand, is, well, I'm not going to say he's coming into his prime because he had some great wins earlier on in his career before he lost to Usyk twice. And by the way, when he did lose to Usyk, the last one was a split decision. It was a pretty close fight. So now this fight is matched. And I just want to look at the tail of the tape. Now, looking at the age difference, we've got 28 years old compared to 36 years old. So I guess the advantage there goes a little bit towards Jake Paul. 28-year-old is better than a 36-year-old. But that being said, we've got talking about experience and everything else. What comes with being 36 years old at Anthony Joshua's level. And then, like I mentioned, the heavyweights kind of seem to prime a little bit older. They'll come down to the height and the weight. This is the big one. 6'1" versus 6'6". 200 pounds versus 252 pounds. We've got a 252 pounder in Anthony Joshua. The reach advantage is a lot, which we would expect. Amateur fights, we can see that Jake's only had one, where AJ's had 43, but 43 of them are including at the highest level, Olympic level. And yes, he won the Olympic bloody gold medal, if I don't need to remind you. Then the pro record, Jake Paul has had 13 fights, lost 1. AJ has had 28 fights and he's lost 4 with 25 KOs. And the one person that Jake Paul lost to was Tommy Fury. Now, can we compare Tommy Fury with Anthony Joshua? Not at all. It's like night and day. So now I'm going to talk about the rules of this fight and I'll give you my prediction, which is going to shock a lot of people after this. So, what are the rules? The bout will take place at a heavyweight.
Analysts break down Jake Paul's sparring with true heavyweights and explore what each side gains. For the heavyweights, the biggest reward is the massive paycheck and the spotlight that comes from training with such a high-profile figure. The sessions also let them sharpen their own skills without the pressure of fight night. For Jake, stepping in with bigger, stronger men shows he is fully locked in for the challenge against Joshua. These demanding rounds push his endurance, sharpen his timing, and toughen his mindset far beyond his usual preparation. Experts agree the sheer intensity of these sessions proves Jake is going all in to be ready for what's coming.
Yeah, I know they're getting a lot of money to be there and it's easy work. But what is in that for Lawrence Okoli, Frank Sanchez, and Jared Anderson?
Easy money. I don't know how much he'll be paying sparring partners. I assume to get those caliber of sparring partners in, it's got to be big money.
Lawrence Okoli's got a fight coming up. If you're Joe Gallagher, you go spar Jake Paul, is that going to help you?
No, absolutely not. Are you going to get a bit of profile from it, perhaps? People are going to hear your name?
Yeah.
Does that help? I remember going to spar with Kessler, and I got £500 or euros for the week. It was the hardest money I've ever earned in my life.
How much did you learn from?
Yeah, me, bundles.
Yeah. What's Okoli learn? I don't get it.
No.
I mean, I do get it, the money. But when you got a fight coming up, I'm thinking, really? Are you going to get anything out of that sparring that's going to help you in your fight? Maybe you are. Maybe I'm just completely diminishing Jake Paul's ability, but I'm struggling. I really am.
Fair play to Jake Paul. I mean...
And you're right, there's a bit of a conflict there because Joshua used to manage him.
Yeah, it was through 258, right?
Yeah. But surely they're smashing him to pieces. Surely Jake's going, oh, what the fuck? This is fucking horrible.
Every single one of those three fighters there could annihilate him in a round.
Yeah, so are they not doing that? I've got so many questions.
Tyron Woodley gives an unexpected comparison when asked about Jake Paul versus Francis Ngannou. He explains that Jake carries noticeably more speed than Ngannou, and that speed becomes a huge advantage against someone as big as Joshua. Woodley mentions that Jake's punches snap faster than many anticipate, even suggesting he generates slightly more impact in certain shots because of that quick delivery. This mix of speed and surprising power leads Woodley to believe the Joshua fight won't resemble the Ngannou bout at all. Instead of a short, explosive finish like Joshua's destruction of Ngannou, Woodley predicts Jake will drag the fight deep. He believes Jake's stamina, movement, and willingness to take calculated risks will keep him upright far longer than most expect. According to Woodley, this matchup becomes a test of strategy, discipline, and endurance rather than one sudden moment. He adds that Ngannou fights with massive committed power that leaves openings, whereas Joshua brings structure, balance, and experience. Against Ngannou, the danger is immediate and overwhelming. Against Joshua, comes from calculated pressure and long-term breakdown.
Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua fight. Do you think Jake has lost his mind? You know him probably as well as anyone.
I mean, Jake has been lost his mind. Like, what's new? Like, he lost his mind when he fought me. He lost his mind when he fought Anderson, when he fought Nate. He lost his mind when he wanted to fight professionally and switched over from amateur. It's really kind of been a theme. And I feel like the only person that hurt him ever was me. The only person that he lost to was somebody that actually boxed him, that actually took him serious, used the jab, moved around. And I feel like we've seen fights where Anthony didn't do that, and we've seen fights where he did. Depending on which version Anthony Joshua comes out, depends on if Jake has what we would call a chance. When you fighting, if you got knockout power, you got belief in yourself, you got some speed, agility to move around, you always have a chance, you know what I mean? We've seen crazier things happen. Francis Ngannou is a terrible comparison to this happened to Francis. He's not even built the same as Jake. I would say Jake's a little bit faster than him. He has more power, but he's slower in distributing that power. And I feel like Anthony probably took him a little bit more serious just because he's actually a bigger heavyweight with power, and I feel like he did everything to make sure Francis didn't even get a chance to use it. So I don't have to make a prediction because I'm fighting, I'm not commentating, but you know, I love when people doubt me, so I'm never gonna doubt somebody if they believe in themselves.
Do you think he has a chance, Jake?
I mean, people think I'm crazy, but they yelled at me when I said I thought the fight with him and Anderson was even. Remember I said that?
Mm-hmm.
Frank Smith reveals that making the Joshua versus Jake Paul clash was far easier than people imagine. He explains they never wasted energy worrying about criticism or public hesitation. In his view, this matchup blends entertainment, business, and competition perfectly. When both fighters benefit, there is no reason to hesitate. Joshua gets a major event, stays active, and brings massive attention to his name. Jake receives the biggest test of his career, along with a huge reward. Smith says there is nothing wrong with a fight that sparks real conversation, because that is how the sport grows through reactions, debate, and excitement. For him, the decision was logical, beneficial, and smart for everyone involved. He also adds that boxing has always thrived through bold personalities and daring matchups. Waiting endlessly for ideal fights slows progress, but taking risks pushes the sport forward. Smith believes Joshua and Jake recognized the magnitude of the moment instantly. Both saw the chance to create something unforgettable. He emphasizes that financial success doesn't cheapen a fight, proves the world wants to see it.
40, but it's up there, tens of millions, right? Tens of millions of pounds. Is your instant reaction, it's good for AJ, bad for Jake Paul, or do you think about the AJ legacy conversation at that moment as well?
No, I think I've been in the sport so long where you see people, we live in a world now where you do something today and it's forgotten about tomorrow. Yeah. Right? And you've got to do what's best for you. Our job is to do the best for the clients we represent. Anthony Joshua has been with us since he was turned out at the Olympics 13 years ago. We've got a lifetime deal with him. Our job is to deliver for him. So when you get a phone call with that amount of money, you're sitting there going, where is this going? Thank God. So it's not, don't get me wrong, we will always look at the optics of things, but we're logical. We're not fans. We're sitting there going, there's going to be people who say this is a joke, but our job is to deliver for him. And that is a fight that delivers for him. So we're sitting there going, happy days, all day long, we'll take the money.
And when you had your first conversation with Anthony about this fight, what was his take at that point? Was he initially hesitant, or was he immediately, for that money and that guy, let's go?
Immediately, yes, immediately. There was no hesitation. You got to imagine, he's been in there with the best fighters in the heavyweight division over the last 10 years. He's never shied away from a challenge. It's not the person he is. So when you say, do you want to fight a former YouTuber Disney star for a load of money in America in 5 weeks' time, he's going, that's a touch, isn't it? Because as any athlete, when you're going in there against Alexander Usyk, you're going to have elements of doubt. You're going to have elements of, oh, this is hard, like, he's bloody good. I would think, I'm not an athlete myself, but I would think that's what you go through. Whereas this one, it's just like, easy. I'd fight Jake Paul for a load of money. So he's obviously thinking, I'll do it. If I'm sitting there thinking, I think it's more competitive, me and Jake Paul, than Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul. So there was no ounce of, oh, is this the right thing to do? It was all day long, thanks very much.
And I want to talk to you about the art of negotiation, because I think that is one of your great talents. And I enjoyed watching the recent Matchroom documentary, and just watching you kind of like, I just think you think very strategically, right, about when people are coming together. So when the phone call first comes in from Jake Paul's people and they say, this is the fight and this is the money and this is the location, what is a good negotiation in that instance for you? Like, did you manage to up the money hugely? Did you manage to get certain clauses or deals in place that you wanted?
Yeah, always pushing to get more money or certain elements that work for you, and we did that in this instance. Boxing, though, as a business, is something that's so much led by ego, and that's the biggest downfall of people in boxing. Ego drives everything, whereas sometimes it's about, is this the best thing to do? We've been in places before where we're not promoting this show, for example. It's not on our broadcast that we did a deal with dazn to allow the fight to go ahead, who's Anthony's exclusive broadcast partner. And it was about, does this deal make sense? So when it came to the money, we pushed hard on the money, we pushed hard on all of the ancillary terms around it.
What sort of things are ancillary terms?
So whether it's flights, hotels, sponsors, all of the elements that come alongside it. Not so much in this fight, because officials, you could judge the fight because it's not going to go 8 rounds. But normally it would be officials, it would be who's walking first or second.